have a lot of young guys, behind Dean in the secondary at the cornerback position. You look at the Chiefs, they lost L'Jarius Sneed, one of their best corners. They still have Trent McDuffie, but Trent McDuffie is more their nickel dime type corner. So they got to find some answers to the outside. And then the Colts and the Indianapolis Colts and the Washington Commanders are the list that I have right now. When I look at the teams and look at their secondary, could definitely use a veteran presence to help their defense moving forward.
All right, so where do you see Patrick Peterson ending up? Earlier this year, he said, he still feels like he has a lot left in the tank. He referenced his year with Pittsburgh just last season. Where's the best fit for him?
The best fit for Pat Pete is the Atlanta Falcons. And the reason why I say that, Jenny, with Atlanta, I'm a big-time A.J. Terrell fan. I think this is going to be a huge year for him when you look at consistency and, of course, creating turnovers. He hasn't really been able to do that throughout his professional career in Atlanta. I think he finds a way to get that job done this season. But outside of A.J. Terrell, you look at the next two best guys, Clark Phillips III and Mike Hughes. I mean, when you combine all three guys from a year ago, Jenny, Pat P had 2 more interceptions than all 3 of those guys and 6 less PBUs. So the production, I mean, if you look at what Pat P did by himself a year ago for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's better when you look at what those 3 guys did for Atlanta a year ago when it came to the interception stat, and he only had 6 less PBUs. So Pat P is a guy that has quality knowledge of the game. He can be a big-time mentor to some of the young guys there in the secondary for the Atlanta Falcons, and he still has shown the ability to give you serviceable action when given the opportunity to do so. So that is a team, I think, for Pat Peterson that could use his veteran presence, not to mention add some depth to a position where they currently lack.
Yeah, that veteran leadership would be huge, that's for sure. What about a guy like Stephon Gilmore, still looking for a home, 5-time Pro Bowler, former NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He's coming off with a really strong campaign with the Cowboys. Where should he end up?
Yeah, that's the confusing part. I mean, he played big-time football for the Dallas Cowboys, one of the best opportunistic defenses a year ago. He's still available. But for me, let's go back to a familiar face for Stephon Gilmore. Washington, the Commanders. Right, Dan Quinn brought him to Dallas, as he mentioned. That was a success, in my opinion, with the Cowboys defense and then Stephon Gilmore. He understands the division, the NFC East. He understands the division. And for Washington, look at what happened a year ago for them. They lost Cameron Curl, the safety, and Kendall Fuller. They were part of a defense a year ago that allowed 4,627 passing yards and 39 touchdowns. That's elite works in both categories. So they need some quality sound help in their secondary. They need a guy that understands man coverage, understands what it means to play in a Dan Quinn-like defense and be successful in doing so. So I think the Commanders, you look at what they have currently, they drafted Emmanuel Forbes a year ago in the first round. He has some
and I'll see you at Fanatic Fest NYC.
Hey, it's Maria Escu, and see you in August.
Hi, my name is Emily, and I'm a residential connectivity specialist at Spectrum. Are you ready for something big? Join us for our
some highs and lows last year. Hopefully they can get that consistent stride for him. But if you want to get the best from a guy like Emmanuel Forbes, bring a guy like Stephon Gilmore into the locker room, into the meeting room, so he can really show Emmanuel what it takes to be in a high-level cornerback in the National Football League. So I think the Commanders and Stephon Gilmore would definitely be a match made in heaven.
You mentioned Gilmore's play last year. Played 94% of the defensive snaps last season, started all 17 games. So again, a key player in him. All right, last player we're going to single out. We have Xavier Howard there. He had at least 12 pass breakups in 4 straight seasons. Where do you see him best fitting in, B-Mac?
Kansas City, the Chiefs.
All right.
Andy Reid. Now, Xavier Howard had some issues off the football field. that he has to get ironed out. But one thing I know about Andy Reid, he doesn't mind taking the chance on a guy that might have a little distraction here or there off the football field. And deserving so, that organization is well built. They have a foundation under them that they can afford to take chances more so than some other teams in the National Football League. And when you look at what Kansas City they have going on currently, I stated earlier, they lost L'Jarius Sneed. He was a big-time difference maker at the outside cornerback position. You still have McDuffie, but what's next? Joshua Williams will jump into the starting lineup. This is a guy that has played sparingly, but he's never really had the spotlight on him as a starting quarterback in the National Football League. They lack experience, they lack depth at the quarterback position. So we can bring a guy in like Xavier Howard that is newly motivated, because being a part of a championship-like team in Kansas City definitely would motivate Xavier Howard to a level in which we haven't really seen when you look at his professional career. And for Kansas City trying to do something that we've never seen done before, which is win 3 straight Sticky Lombardis, you might need to call a guy by the name of Xavier Howard to kind of help you accomplish that goal.
B-Mac, we appreciate you always here on Spotlight as we get ready.
Chào mừng các bạn đã quay trở lại với mình. Như các bạn đã thấy, đây là phòng làm việc của mình, là nơi mình trang trí.
Do you feel like it's crazy I'm mentioning this now because Jeezy and his wife divorced after 2 years. Tiana Taylor and Iman Shumpert, they divorced. Well, they split. Papoose and Remy Ma, they reportedly, he held her down for 6 years while she was locked up. She's reportedly messing with a younger battle rapper right now. Is real love, is that a thing of the past? Because of, it's so easy to get women now. It's so easy on the internet.
That's dumb.
Because I see it with a bunch of dudes. I've been that eager to get women, and I see it with a bunch of dudes all the time.
I see it, John.
Young love still exists. Nothing new is up under the sun. It's just that the people before was more loyal and committed and got past what they felt. This is an emotionally responsive group of humans. They think what they feel make them right. You have the right to your feelings, but your feelings don't make you right.
That's facts.
So most people process their reason and their logic from their emotions, not from facts and what's true.
Correct.
Motherfucker base what they think is logical and reason from what they feel.
How you feel?
And no intelligent person does that. No intelligent person does that. They let their feelings subside and then start to try to think.
Paying your bills on time raises your credit score, right? Wrong. In fact, this is the first of 3.
Oh my fucking god, bro, why?
Big credit company.
Yeah, fall your little stupid ass on the ground.
It doesn't matter what you do, getting to 720 and above will be a long, hard
Fucking idiots,
if
bro.
you get there at all.
You gotta feel. You gotta think past what you feel. So,
Facts. A little talk.
man, most niggas know they done cheated too. Man, ain't now nigga. You can't make me believe. But yeah, I can't. I ain't gonna say that. I got a partner. I had to think. I got a partner named Big C. He got arrested, so he was just murdered. Although when that nigga, his girl was in jail. Nigga, we was in a strip club every night. And I was trying to get that nigga to cheat. God damn, a nigga. And he wasn't doing it. So there's some men out there, they refuse to cheat. They won't cheat. What up, guys, and welcome back to Meet the YouTubers for the next episode. Right now we're going to be talking about Poetic Flacco over there at No Chump. Apparently, Poetic Flacco's turning over a new leaf, and he's stomped down trying to run these streets out here in California. Yeah, it looked like he with the business now. He running down on fools at the office. Yeah, Flacco's with the shits right now. DJ Academics and Whack 100 were speaking on his situation, and even Rich the Trapper tried to warn Flacco, telling him he needed to tone it down, talking about these LA politics. I've been in LA for quite some time, and I do agree that Flacco needs to slow down a bit. Do you guys think Flacco's in danger? Me personally, I knew Flacco was in danger as soon as he wanted to hang out with gang members and not get put on. So, you know what I mean? We got a clip here of DJ Academics and Wack 100 talking about this situation with Poetic Flacco. Let's roll that footage.
What did you think when you saw the clip of Wack almost knocking out Flacco, bro?
Well, now, no, I understood completely what Wack was saying.
Come on, bro.
I'm like, not even lacking on camera. Like, goddamn, but I get the facts. Second to the third of all, I think Flacco will realize, you know, that's what I said, like, I have a lot of grace for people who were in the media side, because what Wack was saying probably went over his head, because he don't realize, like,
oh, wow.
Okay, well, this makes sense in terms of interactions. But what Wack was saying is that, yo, when you're doing this and doing this, this is how it's coming across, and that's the bigger picture of it. And you know,
what?
Flacco was just using a micro conversation. Well, you know what I mean? Well, to keep it real, it's not my platform, it's none of them, but you know what you're doing, right? And obviously, I think Wack got just frustrated, but I think Flacco's a little bit like me. I don't think Flacco means to do intentionally to get people hemmed up, but I do think most of his moves is driven by what would be possible growth. Now, he's gonna grow out of that, and it is gonna take situations like, you know, with Wack for him to realize, like, yo, it's having a bigger effect, because anytime somebody is driven only by the growth of numbers, you're gonna go down a really dark path.
So there you go. DJ Academics is saying that he thinks Poetic Flacco is solely motivated by numbers and money and running up a bag instead of...
This local engineer is hated by the TV cable companies. Millions of Americans are now calling their cable companies to cancel their monthly subscriptions. He created a device that lets you access all your favorite channels and movies for free, anywhere in the world. And guess what? Big cable companies are scrambling to shut it down. Harnessing cutting-edge AI technology, Rewave captures satellite TV signals to deliver more channels than traditional cable, all in breathtaking HD. Kevin, a cable industry veteran, found a loophole, unlocking hundreds of premium channels without monthly fees, saving households up to $2,000 yearly. Cable companies offered millions to buy him out, but he refused. Now they're trying to ban it. Before they succeed, get Rewave at a 50% discount exclusively online. Ditch expensive cable bills. Click the link below for this limited time offer on Rewave, backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act fast, stocks are running out. Click now.
Hot rooms turn icy cold instantly without AC, while slashing electric bills just by doing this.
Tank has not been silent ever since Shakur fought Artem. Right after the fight, critics have been flowing in Shakur's corner, but the best one yet comes from Tank from a live session.
We're done, man. I think, like, with me, people just put, like, an unfair amount of criticism on me.
As days go by, it seems that a fight between Shakur and Tank is closer, with Loma even stepping down to make space for it. On July 6, 2024, boxing fans gathered at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, expecting an electrifying showdown between Shakur Stevenson and Artem Harutyunyan. The hype surrounding this fight was massive, with Stevenson making his first title defense at 135 pounds in his hometown. However, what happened in the ring was far from the thrilling battle that fans had anticipated. Instead, the night was marked by a lackluster performance that left many feeling let down.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't care, because at the end of the day, I'm the best fighter in the world.
Shakur Stevenson entered the fight with an impressive record of 21-0, having secured multiple titles in different weight classes. His opponent, Artem Harutyunyan, was no slouch either, coming in with a 12-1 record and an Olympic bronze medal to his name. From Artem's fight with Frank, we did expect to see some top performance from him, especially him being a challenge to Shakur.
And carry the sport for the next few years. And I'm that guy, and I just can't wait for the day. So at the end of the day, I can't really focus on the people that try to downplay my last performance.
But from the opening bell, it became clear that this fight was not going to live up to the expectations. Stevenson, coming into the ring with his usual defensive skills, employed a familiar, cautious approach. While his strategy was effective in neutralizing Harutyunyan's aggression, it did little to excite the audience. Round after round, Stevenson landed precise jabs and counterpunches, but the fight lacked the exchanges that fans crave.
I performed plenty times at the night, and I gave the fans a lot of great, I ain't gonna say action-packed, because it's not gonna be action-packed when it's one-sided.
We do know that Harutyunyan tried to press the action, but he found it difficult to break through Stevenson's defense. And as the rounds progressed, the crowd's enthusiasm died. And what started as a highly anticipated event turned into a monotonous display of technical boxing.
Honestly, I don't put in a great performance before, so if they want to dwell my last performance, they can, but truthfully, I think my last performance was a testament to how great I really am.
The lack of heat and intensity in the fight became increasingly apparent, and by the later rounds, the audience's frustration was what was more interesting than the fight itself. After the fight, Tank came in with the comments, saying how the fight was a total waste of time for everyone, saying,
He is ass. He is ass.
But this was not the end of his reaction. Later, he took to live to express more disappointment with the performance, not holding anything back with his criticism. Davis voiced what many of us were thinking.
Oh, I mean, I would probably would quit too, chasing him around the ring. Who would want to chase him around the ring like that? But at the end of the day, it's boxing, right?
That fight was boring as hell. Fans deserve better. Shakur needs to step it up. This is the guy some of you are saying can put me down? Come on, I put him down in our sparring session, and it was even much more exciting than what shit he showed there. He should go learn some offense if he wants a name for himself. That's why he's down there, because Ed doesn't know how to fight. Too scared to get knocked out. But that's easy work for me.
People that be actually get it. No matter all that possible, you're going to get it. What you going to do when you get it?
This wasn't the first time Stevenson had faced criticism for his fighting style. While his skills are undeniable, his cautious approach often leads to uneventful bouts. And in a sport where excitement and entertainment are crucial, Stevenson's style has sometimes been perceived as offensive and lacking in aggression.
You know, like my last fight, right? You say, oh, it was moving. Before that fight, they was telling me that I was flat-footed, and I was standing in front of guys too much. And that was like
stupid.
Thing, like, oh, I'm in the pocket, stand in front of somebody.
The fight against Harutyunyan was a prime example of this. Despite his dominance in the ring, Stevenson's performance failed to capture the imagination of the audience. Somewhere in the fight, you could hear the audience already booing. And if you've been following Stevenson, you know this is not the first time he's getting this kind of a reaction from the fans. However, right after the fight, Shakur Stevenson responded to the criticism of his fight against Artem Harutyunyan by saying that cheers were directed at Harutyunyan because he ain't really trying to make the fight. While it's true that neither Harutyunyan nor Edwin de los Santos, Stevenson's previous opponent, pressed the action, the responsibility still fell on Stevenson to find a way to finish his opponent.
Inches to make those shots.
Oh, there was a body shot right on the head, standing firm.
Like a mountain.
Short left hand.
And yes, while we do agree that Shakur does deserve some criticism because of his performances, let's bring the focus to the opponent he wasn't facing in the ring and probably won't be facing anytime soon, Tank Davis. As Shakur Stevenson prepared to face Artem Harutyunyan in the final fight of his top-ranked contract, the talk around the boxing world wasn't just about the upcoming bout.
Did you catch Shakur fight on the app, or?
Man, everybody watching that shit.
Did you hear what happened?
No, I didn't.
It was a decision.
Huh?
Instead, much of the excitement centered on the potential mega fight between Stevenson and WBA champion Gervonta "Tank" Davis. This potential clash has been a hot topic during the promotional build-up to Stevenson's fight against Harajunian, mirroring the hype that surrounded Davis's recent knockout victory over Frank Martin. The idea of Stevenson and Davis squaring off has fans and promoters talking with anticipation. Stevenson himself acknowledged the excitement surrounding a future fight with Davis, telling Boxing Scene, "We all know that me and Tank is going to be the biggest fight in years to come. Everybody and any promoter will want to be involved when that happens. I just sit back and chill and try not to think about it. I'll think about it when it happens." Stevenson didn't mince words about the significance of a fight with Davis. "It's no question my fight with Davis is going to stop everyone Saturday night. That's like the biggest fight in the world if we are really thinking about it. Every hood in America is going to want to watch that fight. It's going to be a tremendous fight. That's the biggest and best fight to make in boxing," he said. Stevenson sees this matchup as not only a career-defining opportunity, but also as a milestone event for the sport itself. Stevenson is strategic about his career moves as he enters free agency. He's open to fluctuating between 135 and 140 pounds, aiming to capture titles in both weight classes. "I'm going to be at 135 pounds for a minute," Stevenson said. "I want to be undisputed at 135 and get the belts one by one." He recognizes that the road to cementing his legacy involves collecting as many titles as possible and showcasing his dominance across divisions. Despite the exciting prospects of a future bout with Davis, Stevenson remained focused on the task at hand, defeating Harajunian. He acknowledged the need to maintain discipline and not get distracted by the future. "I know that my time will come. Tank Davis has nowhere else to go but to fight me. At the end of the day, me and him will have to fight, and that's my opportunity. But for now, we're focused on Artem," Stevenson said.
Of course, Stevenson and Tank, because they're undefeated. In my opinion, I think Tank is gonna, be that guy for that.
For his part, Davis has also shown interest in facing Stevenson, but currently has his sights set on IBF lightweight title holder Vasily Lomachenko. Negotiations between Davis and Lomachenko's camps are already underway.
Oh my God, bro, I passed the motherfucker before that.
Dynamics. Davis made it clear that Stevenson is on his hit list, signaling that a clash between these two powerhouses is more a matter of when, not if.
Oh my fucking God, bro.
On the other hand, it appears that the highly anticipated boxing match between Gervonta Davis and Vasily Lomachenko might not happen this year after all. In a recent update, Davis's co-trainer Kenny Ellis provided significant insights into the situation. According to Ellis, Lomachenko will step aside from the bout and allow Davis to take on Stevenson this fall, with the Ukrainian fighter then facing the winner in early 2025. This change has stirred the boxing world, altering the expected dynamics of the lightweight division and setting the stage for one of the most exciting matchups in recent history. Gervonta Davis and Vasily Lomachenko are among the top names in boxing right now, both holding impressive records and championship titles. The anticipation for a showdown between them has been building steadily, especially after their most recent triumphs.
This local engineer is hated by the TV cable companies. Millions of Americans are now calling their cable companies to cancel their monthly subscriptions. He created a device that lets you access all your favorite channels and movies for free, anywhere in the world. And guess what?
Everyone was eager to see these two elite fighters clash, and it seemed that this wish was finally going to be granted. Lomachenko's promoter, Bob Arum of Top Rank Boxing, had previously disclosed in an interview with Boxing Scene that Lomachenko, the IBF lightweight world champion,
no.
Davis next.
And we're at this time now.
Oh, okay, I'm fucking great.
It's a very intriguing fight.
According to boxing journalist Dan Raphael, Arum admitted that discussions on the title unification fight had begun, with expectations that the bout could occur by the end of the year. This setup had everyone on the edge of their seats, eagerly awaiting what promised to be an explosive encounter. However, the landscape of the lightweight division has experienced a significant shift. Following Shakur Stevenson's unanimous decision victory over Artem Harutyunyan to defend his WBC lightweight title, new developments emerged. Kenny Ellis took to social media to announce that Lomachenko was ready to step aside and let Davis fight Stevenson.
Proven that everybody has to see who really is the best, who is that person, who is that guy that is going to take over the sport. And
this unexpected turn of events has redirected the focus from a Davis-Lomachenko matchup to a potential showdown between Davis and Stevenson. Boxing journalist Michael Benson recently shared this update on X, adding credibility to the claims and further stirring excitement within the boxing community. Even before his fight against Harutyunyan, Shakur Stevenson had expressed a strong desire to face Gervonta Davis. In an interview with Boxing Scene, Stevenson made it clear that he views a fight with Davis as the biggest potential matchup in boxing. We all know that me and Tank is going to be the biggest fight in years to come. Everybody and any promoter will want to be involved when that happens. I just sit back and chill and try not to think about it. I'll think about it when it happens. Every hood in America is going to want to watch that fight, Stevenson said. His comments highlight the enormous appeal and marketability of such a fight, which promises to draw massive viewership and generate significant revenue.
I want to fight with a guy that will come to try to fight me, to try to win, to make sure they ain't got stuff in those two just like me. I got that one to just come here and be a part of the show.
A fight between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson is a matchup that has the potential to redefine the lightweight division. Both fighters bring unique skills and styles to the ring, making for an intriguing clash. Davis, known for his explosive power and aggressive fighting style, would be pitted against Stevenson's technical prowess and defensive skills. This contrast sets the stage for a captivating bout that could see either fighter emerge victorious. For Stevenson, this fight represents an opportunity to solidify his standing as one of the best in the division and to answer critics who have labeled some of his previous fights as boring. For Davis, it's a chance to further cement his reputation as a dominant force in boxing and to add another prestigious title to his collection.
Can you send a message to Tank Davis?
Vasily Lomachenko's decision to step aside and let Davis fight Stevenson is a strategic move that could pay off in the long run. By allowing this fight to happen, Lomachenko sets himself up for a high-stakes matchup against the winner in early 2025. This decision also shows his confidence in his abilities and his desire to take on the very best, regardless of the outcome of the Davis-Stevenson fight. Lomachenko remains a formidable competitor, and his eventual bout against the victor of Davis versus Stevenson will undoubtedly be a must-watch event. The boxing community has been filling with reactions to these developments. Promoters, analysts, and fans are all weighing in on what this means for the sport. The prospect of Davis facing Stevenson this fall has injected new energy into the lightweight division, with many seeing it as a win-win situation for the sport. The fight promises to deliver excitement, high-level competition, and a significant boost to the visibility of boxing. Additionally, the eventual winner's fight against Lomachenko adds another layer of anticipation and intrigue, ensuring that the lightweight division will remain at the forefront of the boxing world for the foreseeable future. From a business perspective, these developments are a gold mine. The potential pay-per-view numbers for a Davis-Stevenson fight, followed by a showdown with Lomachenko, are...
Is that Chris?
say, bro, I tell people all the time, bro, sometimes it's best to do your research before you say certain things, because saying stuff like this, it just makes no sense.
Once a star of an Auburn team that played in the national championship, former quarterback Nick Marshall is now in jail arrested on gun charges.
You know how some people in this life, no matter how much you try to help them and how good things are going for them, they somehow, some way find a way to screw it up? That's what Nick Marshall did here. Today is November 16th, 2013. Beautiful night on the plains. Not too cold and not too hot. Georgia is trailing 37-31. They need a touchdown. It's 4th and goal, and they're in what I would label as no man's land. They're on the 5-yard line. The reason I refer to it as no man's land because not really a great opportunity to run and get it in there, but also passing, everything is scrunched up together. The quarterback for Georgia at the time, as you can see right here, is no other than the man, the myth, the legend himself, Aaron Murray. Aaron Murray's going to drop back to pass here, and, well, I'll let him take it from here. Here's what happens next. Just like that, boom! Touchdown Georgia. Pending the extra point, they're about to take a 1-point lead over Auburn. Only a few plays later, after some terrible play calls and terrible plays in general, Auburn's looking at a 4th and 18. Quarterback drops back, throws the ball, and this happens next. Georgia player goes for interception, bounces right off of him, and luckily enough, lands in the Auburn wide receiver who is dead sprinting down the middle of the field. It's just one of those insane plays that college football fans are going to remember the rest of their life. Everything that could have went wrong for Georgia and had to go wrong, it did. Auburn goes on to win the game, and still to this day, one of, if not the craziest plays I've ever seen in my life. We now refer to that play as, and I think this is one of the best nicknames out there, the prayer in Jordan Hare. Or is it the prayer at Jordan Hare? I guess it depends who you're talking to, but either way you get the point. But if you really keep up with college football, you don't just remember this play as, oh yeah, this was the play that helped Auburn beat Georgia. No. You remember this as the start to one of the craziest endings and wildest endings to a season you've ever witnessed. Because without going into too much detail here, this was just the start of the chaos that would ensue the rest of the year for Auburn. Whoa, hold on, back it up. Everybody talks about the prayer in Jordan Hare, the kick six, etc., etc. But what about the quarterback of that team? What about the guy who made the throw against Georgia? And what about the guy who led Auburn to the championship that year? I till this day believe he is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in Auburn football history. He was so good, and I mean so good, but here's the kicker with that. Ever since his glory days at Auburn, we haven't heard anything about him. And I know what you're sitting there thinking, well, Matt, it's probably nothing crazy. He attempted to go to the NFL, got cut a couple times, and it didn't work out. Like our old buddy Lee Corso says, not so fast, my friend. It's not quite as simple as that. This is Nick Marshall now. Yes, the guy you see on your screen with the neck tattoos. Same guy that threw a touchdown pass against Georgia. Let's just say that Mr. Nick Marshall hasn't been behaving himself too well off the field. It's really unfortunate because the only person who has held Nick Marshall back from achieving his dreams is no other than Nick Marshall himself. In today's video, we're going to try to get to the bottom of all this and figure out what happened. This is the Nick Marshall story.
Don't risk losing the photos and videos from your phone. This innovative device makes it easy to back up your smartphone in seconds. You don't need to be a computer or phone expert. It's compatible with all devices such as...
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you are having a great and fantastic day. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And a major shout out to, I'm not even just going to single out one person, but a major shout out to everybody that has been requesting and recommending this video. This has been one of, if not the most highly requested videos on the channel, so I greatly appreciate you guys leaving the comments. I'm going to keep this short and simple. I know you guys are ready to get into this, so am I. If you have any recommendations for videos like this in the future, feel free to leave a comment down below. Strap in, buckle up, get your popcorn, get you a snack, get your favorite meal you like to eat and watch a video, because trust me, I do the same thing, but I'm not blah, blah, shut the crap up, now I'm ready to go. Unlike other stories we've covered on this channel, it doesn't take long for Nick Marshall's story to get really interesting. He played his high school football in the state of Georgia for Wilcox County High School. One thing you need to know about him that'll come back into play later is he was an overall outstanding athlete. He did track and field in high school, he was a stud on the basketball court, but also, goes on being said, the football field as well. Coming out of high school, he wasn't even ranked as a quarterback, he was ranked as a cornerback. He was a 4-star recruit and had an overall scout grade of 92, that's really good. I think this is going to catch a lot of you by surprise because most people don't know this. Nick Marshall committed and signed with Georgia in high school, and that's where he first went. It seemed like at first glance, Marshall was going to be a cornerback for Georgia and have an outstanding career. However, as we all know, that didn't happen. The reason it didn't happen is because he got kicked off of the team. The only thing that was ever said about it is he was dismissed, kicked off, whatever word you want to throw in there from Georgia for quote-unquote violating team rules. Here's what Mark Rigg, head coach at the time, had to say. It's a privilege to play college football and to be a part of this team in university. Along with that privilege comes certain responsibilities. Mistakes were made, and part of our job is helping them learn from mistakes. Going forward, we are committed to assisting them find opportunities where they can continue their education. To give you some context and perspective here, for those of you who don't know how Mark Rigg did things at Georgia, this wasn't anything new. I'm not going to say he had zero tolerance for off-the-field issues and problems, but it was close to it. According to multiple different reports and sources, the reason he was kicked off is because he got caught stealing money. Where did he steal this money? Don't know. When did it happen? What was all the details? Still to this day, we don't know. We're all left in the dark. I would like to assume, though, it had to be a pretty hefty amount of money and just an overall bad situation for him to get kicked off. When Marshall got kicked off with Georgia, obviously, it goes on being said that was devastating to him. So the following day, he met up with his former high school head coach. Here's what his coach had to say, quote unquote. We met at the school. We got in the truck and rode and had us a talk. He was completely honest with me. What he told me was what the Georgia coaches had told me. He was completely honest, but he was remorseful. This is when, according to his head coach, Marshall stated, Coach, I want to go to junior college. I want to play quarterback, and I want to come back to the SEC. You could say he sort of manifested that because it's exactly what happened. Marshall decided to go to Garden City Community College. For this college, I think it's more than safe to say he had a pretty good season, was a starting quarterback, and had over 3,000 passing yards with over 1,000 rushing yards and 37 total touchdowns. His dual threat ability was on full display, and similar to when he was coming out of high school, all these colleges, the offers, they started pouring in. A lot of schools were recruiting him, but remember, he wanted to come back to the SEC, so it didn't shock anybody when he announced that he was going to commit and sign with Auburn. When Nick Marshall arrived to Auburn in 2013, and this is a part of the story that doesn't get talked about enough, they were coming off of a miserable 3-9 season with Gene Chizik. They just fired him, and now they got the new head coach, Gus Malzahn, taking over. That offseason in 2013, there was a heated quarterback competition, but Marshall came out on top. He took over the reins in week 1 and really didn't look back. Auburn was having a really good season outside of the 35-21 loss to LSU, but LSU was still a really good team at the time. But after the LSU game, they ran off 6 straight wins, and you look up, and at the time, you didn't think too much about it because Alabama was dominating the SEC West and dominating college football in general. Not the following week, they had a bye week. 2 weeks later, they upset Alabama with the kick 6. Crazy 2-week span, but one thing I've always thought about back then and even to this day is if Auburn would have lost to Georgia, even with the win over Alabama, Alabama would have won the tiebreaker and still made it to the SEC championship. And that's why I always thought the Georgia game might be a bigger win than the Alabama game just due to that alone. Because if Auburn would have lost to Georgia, they wouldn't have made the SEC championship that year. I digress. Continuing along, after the amazing Alabama win, they're riding out on time high. Really, after the Georgia game, you're playing with house money. They continue the hot streak and they beat Missouri in the championship game. They match up with the Florida State Seminoles in the national championship game, and they come up short 34-31. That's when Florida State had that really good team with Jameis Winston leading them. There was good and bad news. The bad news is you lost the national championship. Even if you weren't supposed to win the game, there's no good thing that can come out of that. However, the good news was Nick Marshall was coming back for another season in 2014. Auburn fans were like, well, dang, we weren't even supposed to be that great this year. We made it to a championship game. 2014 is going to be great, too. That was not the case, though, and I mean this in the most respectful way. All that Auburn luck, I guess you could say it ran out. They used up all of their magic in that 1 year in 2013, because in 2014 they finished 8-5. Although Auburn kind of took a backward step in 2014, Nick Marshall was still really good. increased its completion percentage, had way more passing yards, had more passing touchdowns, and only one more IT. On the ground, had close to 800 rushing yards with 11 touchdowns. When the 2014 season wrapped up, Marshall declared for the NFL draft, and there was a lot of hope for him. Heading into the NFL draft, he did announce that he would officially be switching over to cornerback, which I think was a pretty smart move. Like I said earlier, he was a talented athlete, and this was the right decision to make. He was
If you owe IRS back taxes but can't afford to pay the IRS in full, there's a new program that could help you put IRS worries behind you. What is it? It's called the IRS Fresh Start Program. Hi, I'm Walter Birch, the editor-in-chief of Tax Relief.
Wasn't a very accurate passer, and he more than likely wasn't going to get a legit shot as a quarterback in the NFL. The bad part about switching over to a cornerback right before the draft, really heading into it, is you didn't play cornerback in college. You play quarterback, so there's no game film. Sure, you can look good in the drills, practices, and so on, but just like the game feel. It comes down to this. Why would you draft a guy, select a guy, who is just now starting to play cornerback outside of high school, but heading to the NFL, he's just now picking up the position again, or you can get another guy who played it for 2 or 3 years in college. For that reason right there, that's why I think he went undrafted in the 2015 NFL draft. Wasn't all bad though, because shortly after, he did get signed by the Jacksonville Jaguars as a free agent. Nothing really happened for the Jaguars, didn't play too much. In October of 2016, he was signed by the New York Jets. In April of 2017, this is when Marshall's NFL career would come to an end. He was suspended 4 games for testing positive for PEDs, which is performance-enhancing drugs. Right after that incident, the Jets, they released him. This is when Marshall came to the executive decision, you know what, probably not going to play in the NFL, probably going to bounce from practice squad to practice squad, so I'm going to try my luck elsewhere. In November of 2017, he signed to the Arizona Rattlers of the IFL, which is the Indoor Football League. Didn't really have a good stint over there, wasn't too fond of it. In 2018, he signed with the CFL, which is a Canadian football league. He was with the Rough Riders for a long time. I'll show you some of his numbers right here. From 2018 up until 2023, had 3 interceptions 1 year, 5, 3, 4, and 5. As you can see, he had a nice little decent career stint with them, which is unique because normally in these videos like this, when these guys are bouncing from the Arena Football League to the Indoor Football League to the CFL, they're only there for a year or 2, but he was there for a solid 5 or 6 years. But you know how some people in this life, no matter how much you try to help them and how good things are going for them, they somehow, some way find a way to screw it up? That's what Nick Marshall did here. He had a good thing going, but he just trashed it because in 2023, he was arrested. This arrest led to the Rough Riders releasing him. The police reportedly found a modified automatic handgun in Marshall's car. It was stated, quote unquote, Marshall had possession of a sawed-off shotgun, sawed-off rifle, dangerous weapon, or silencer. Here's my big question. Not that I guess it's any of my business, I'm just curious. Why do we have all that? I know some people are going to say, well, man, he's trying to protect himself. I get that, and I'm for that, but a shotgun, a rifle, and what's labeled as, they even throw it in there, just a dangerous weapon, and a silencer? I mean, what are we doing? I have no idea what a sawed-off shotgun and a sawed-off rifle is. You know, let's just look it up together. All right, here we go. What is the point of a sawed-off shotgun? Compared to a standard shotgun, the sawn-off shotgun has a shorter effective range due to a lower muzzle velocity. However, its reduced length makes it easier to maneuver and conceal. Alright, so I guess it's nothing crazy. I don't know why I was thinking like sawed off and like he, I don't know, made some modifications to it, like he sawed off. I know it's gonna sound dumb, but like he sawed off the serial number or the number that's on the gun, something like that. I'm not a gun expert, so don't come at me in the comment section. The point is, he got arrested. And yeah, that's it. His career's over, end of story. Obviously I'm playing, we're not gonna end it off that way, but no, like on a serious note here, that's been the end of his football career. He hasn't played since because no team wants to pull with him. Well, actually, hold on, partner. Wait a minute here. I have found, I don't know if this is him, but just putting some context clues together, I think it might be him. This is a private Instagram, and it's hard to find because he doesn't even put his name on there. It's 3IG0 or O Young. I don't know what that stands for. 3-I-Go gun, maybe? I have no idea. In his bio it states, ATH, which is athlete for the West Texas Desert Hawks. CFL All-Star, and that's why I think it's him. All-time pick six interception record holder, Nick Marshall Jr., Noah Marshall. Okay, I don't know what that is. I guess it's some brothers or sisters. Or maybe it might be his kids. I didn't think about that. This Instagram is private, so we can't really see too much. But yeah, I guess according to him, he's playing for the West Texas Desert Hawks. So yeah, that's where Nick Marshall's at. And let's address the two questions we normally ask when we have a wishy-washy or iffy situation. Number one, why did things work out for Nick Marshall? Well, fairly obvious. He couldn't get out of his own way, period, the end. I know some people are going to try to argue, well, Matt, he wasn't going to get a legit shot as a quarterback or cornerback in the NFL regardless of him taking the drugs, the PEDs, when he was in the NFL. I hear you. It's a good argument, a fair argument, but here's my rebuttal. He didn't put himself in the best position to succeed. By messing up, you ruin all opportunities. At least if you stay out of trouble, you got a decent shot of making it. At least if you stay out of trouble, even if you're bouncing from practice squad to practice squad and team to team, you're going to have a shot. Whereas if you just get kicked off, no shot. That's why they work out in the NFL, and I'm really fascinated to see what you guys got to say about this one and your thoughts on it. Is Nick Marshall a winner or a loser? What I do like about him is when he messes up, he normally responds in good fashion, and that's how I judge a winner. It's not about being a college superstar. It's not about making it to the NFL and being the greatest football player of all time. Winning sometimes is how you respond to things. And I say it's interesting because it's almost like every 6 to 7 years he has a major incident. Got kicked off his college football team, which is huge. Then got caught taking drugs in the NFL. And about 6 years later, he got this whole gun charge situation. I'm leaning more towards the side of, I think he's a winner. He's most definitely not a loser. He strikes me as a person who just occasionally makes a bad decision. Outside the Georgia thing where he got caught stealing some money, the past two incidents, it's not like he's being a menace to society. He had some guns in his car, okay? Big deal. It doesn't mean he was going to go rob a bank or rob a person. Then you had the whole thing with the Jets taking the PEDs. Like, come on, man, that's not a big deal either. To Nick Marshall, if you're somehow someone seeing this video, my brother, I'm wishing the best of luck, and I hope you continue to see a lot of success. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts and all this down below. But
say goodbye to old, costly cable TV once and for all. This revolutionary invention gives you access to your favorite channels and movies completely free of charge. Greedy cable corporations are trying their best to outlaw it. The device, surpassing standard cable companies in channel offerings and HD quality, deploys cutting-edge chip technology to capture satellite TV signals. It gives access to content across all major media platforms, eliminating the need for expensive contracts or monthly subscriptions, making traditional cable providers a thing of the past. Setting up this invention is a breeze, taking less than a minute. Simply plug it in and it works. The signal quality excels in both urban and rural settings.
Today, as LaMichael James made his appearance, he was sentenced to 24 months probation. He must have no contact with the victim under this plea deal.
Don't ask me how I found this, just know it took a long time. I got the official court documents. What I'm about to read off to you next is a description of what happened between LaMichael James and his ex-girlfriend, and this was filed to the court. This is LaMichael James. Looks like he's dead in the water, doesn't it? That'll change in a few seconds. Trying to get up to the outside looking for a fly. As you can see, he turned nothing into something. But that shouldn't shock you because he is one of the best running backs in college football history. As a freshman in the year 2009, he had over 1,500 rushing yards and 14 touchdowns. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's not something you're going to see every day in the Power 5 conference. When it comes to evaluating players, I have levels. There's average, good, really good, great, elite, and then LaMichael James. Just how great was he at Oregon? Well, let's finish off this play. As you can see, there's a Tennessee Volunteer defender with his arms completely wrapped around LaMichael James. And somehow, some way, it still didn't slow him down. Shakes another tackle. James! What you just watched might be one of the most underrated runs of all time. Some people would go as far as to saying that's an insane run from LaMichael James. Others would say it's just a casual Saturday. Moral of the story is, this guy made plays left and right. But right when his career was at an all-time high as an Oregon Duck, this happened. He got into a, we'll label it as a situation with his girlfriend at the time, or now ex-girlfriend. What was really intriguing about this is the media and everybody in general, they were slandering LaMichael James, saying, how could he do this? He's such a terrible person. You had everybody taking the girl's side, and people were distraught at the fact that he would even consider doing what he did, or at least supposedly he did. So Detective Matt being in the building, I dug up the official court documents. We'll leave it at this for now. The entire story wasn't told. Despite that dispute with his girlfriend, LaMichael James is known not just as an Oregon legend, but a college football legend. But here's a $1 million question. What happened to him after Oregon? Because when you think about it, you didn't hear of anything about LaMichael James playing in the NFL, not to the slightest bit. There hasn't been any updates about this guy since he has taken off that Oregon uniform. For that reason, it leads us to the main question, and we're going to try to get to the bottom of it in today's video. What really happened to LaMichael James?
Experience rugged mountains.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope I'll be having a great and fantastic day. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And major shout out to, I actually had a lot of you in the comments recommend this video, but I'm going to shout out JJ0244. So yeah, thank you for that. And what is this? I'm scrolling through the comment section on the previous video. Might be giving back shots to alright, bro. What is, I don't even know how to say that. I'm not like I didn't see it. My brother in Christ, I don't know what inclined you to write that comment, but yeah, you need some help. Anyways, continuing along here, one more comment. This was the top like comment on yesterday's video, and I'd like to share with you guys. I'm homeless in my 2010 Mazda 3. Your videos help me out. Thank you, especially during the hot days. Well, first things first, it's very humbling that you can come to our channel, our community, and escape reality for a few minutes of your day, or about 15, 20 minutes, and have a good time here. We enjoy your company. Secondly, I hate that you're having to go through that, and hopefully things get better for you. As you can see, the original comment has about 15 replies to it, and I want to give a major shout out to our community, to you guys, for showing him a lot of love in the comment section. I appreciate you being vulnerable with us, because that is not an easy thing to share. Wishing you the best of luck. And then we got this comment. We're all still waiting for the what happened to your hairline video. Alright, one more comment like that, buddy, and you're getting banned. I'm Jibber Jabber, no. Strap in, buck, get you a snack, get you a popcorn, get your favorite meal you like to eat and watch a video, because trust me, I do the same thing, but alright, man, blah, blah, shit, crap up, now, for that dope. Let's get it. Mr. LaMichael James played his high school football in the state of Texas, where, ironically enough, and this may be hard to believe, he wasn't a highly regarded and touted prospect. He was only listed as a 3-star recruit, and I know that's not very low, but it's also not very high considering how good he was at the collegiate level. If you do want to know a little bit about his glory days in high school, as a senior, he had over 2,000 rushing yards and 24 touchdowns, and here's the most impressive part. He averaged 8.9 yards per carry. Pretty dang good if you gotta ask me. As far as it goes for his recruitment process, well, you already know we talked about it in the intro. He decided to commit Silent Oregon. Heading into his freshman year in 2009, it didn't appear that LaMichael James was going to be the starting running back for Oregon, because they had a guy ahead of him that went by the name of Garrett Blunt. And I don't know why I remember this so vividly, but I'm sure if I remember it, some of you do as well. The Garrett Blunt incident against Boise State, that happened in 2009. If you don't know what I'm referring to make a long story short, in the season opener, yet again in 2009, clarified here, Garrett Blunt, he wasn't too fond of what the Boise State players were saying after the game, and he punched one of the guys. I remember how wild that was back then, and we probably need to make a video on Garrett Blunt, because now that I think about it, where's that guy at? Anyways, different video for a different day. The point is, Blunt got suspended, and since that was the season opener, that meant, from then on out, LaMichael James was going to be the starter, and that's what happened. James went off that season and was named Pac-10 Freshman of the Year. I think I might have said in the intro Pac-12 once, but back then, I believe if I'm not mistaken here, it was just the Pac-10. I'll show you his numbers. He had 1,546 rushing yards, averaging 6.7 yards per carry. That's insane, with 14 touchdowns. Things are looking great for James. That was up until early March of 2010. This is when LaMichael James will get arrested for what is labeled as quote-unquote physical harassment against his former girlfriend. To use some more context here, this young LaMichael back then, he wasn't this bad guy, he wasn't an aggressive guy, he wouldn't do anything like that. The story wasn't adding up, but to make matters even worse, he wound up pleading guilty. When he pled guilty, that's when everybody was really thrown into the fire, because if you're innocent, you're not going to plead guilty to it, or at least that's what people don't think. Here's LaMichael James' official statement to the court, quote unquote. I'm so sorry that she has been treated by some people as though she deserved the blame for this. She does not. Continuing along, I ask people to treat her with respect. She has not done anything wrong. Very mature words from him, and the reason he came out and stated that is because a lot of people were mad at the girl trying to say, oh, we should just let it go, let it slide. You're trying to ruin his career and ruin his livelihood. He's about to go to the NFL. Here's what James had to say about the incident itself, quote unquote. I hope to put this matter behind me now and learn from it. I have made a mistake and accept the consequences. I look forward to demonstrating to my university, to my team, and to the community that I'm a better man than recent events suggest. Yet again, very mature words, but as I was reading up on all this, I was like, man, something doesn't seem right. I just didn't get the vibes that Michael James actually was the bad guy in all this. I didn't. But I asked myself this question, okay, if he wasn't the bad guy, why did he plead guilty? Don't ask me how I found this, just know it took a long time. I got the official court documents. What I'm about to read off to you next is a description of what happened between LaMichael James and his ex-girlfriend, and this was filed to the court. You're going to see the word defendant in here, and that is referring to LaMichael James. The victim is his girlfriend. At the time the incident offense took place, the defendant and the victim had been in a committed, intimate relationship for a significant period of time. Yet again, that's LaMichael James and his girlfriend. They had introduced each other to family members and were very close. When the victim learned that the defendant had female house guests from outside Oregon, she went to the defendant's residence to speak with his guests. In other terms here, somehow, some way, LaMichael James' girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, whichever way you want to word it, found out that LaMichael had another girl over, and she went to the house like a lunatic, like a crazy person. The house guest was alarmed, refused to let the victim into the residence, and subsequently called the defendant. Shortly thereafter, the defendant, James here, arrived at his residence and told the victim to leave. He physically removed the victim from the area immediately in front of his residence door. Before we go any farther, let me dumb this down for you if you're lost. LaMichael James' girlfriend showed up to LaMichael James's house and refused to leave. Meanwhile, his other girl he's seen at the time is inside. She's scared, she's frightened, she doesn't know what's going on. His ex-girlfriend standing out there probably causing a major scene saying, I'm not leaving, I'm not leaving. So LaMichael James, he moved her out from the door. I'm not saying LaMichael James is in the right here. I'm just saying they didn't put out all this information when this case was going on years ago. Imagine you pull up to your house and somebody's standing in front of the door talking about, I'm not getting out the way. I think a majority of us out here, maybe not majority, but some of us will move out the way so we can get in our own house. Continuing along here right after your door, while the defendant was holding onto the victim's arm, she grabbed the defendant's necklace. So you got LaMichael James just grabbing her arm, moving her to the side, and she grabbed this necklace. So you got two people in the wrong here, at least in my opinion. She advised that she would not let go of his necklace unless he released her. During the ensuing push and pull, the defendant's neck was broken. He became angry, which is rightfully so. If you break my necklace, I'm going to be angry too. The defendant admits that he grabbed the victim by her collar and pushed her against his car, which, yeah, that's a big no-no. Can't be doing that. The victim then got into the defendant's vehicle and removed his keys from the ignition. The defendant, moving on to the next page, grabbed the victim to remove her from his vehicle, but she kept his keys and ran from the car. Defendant caught the victim, grabbed her waist, and they fell to the ground in the bark mulch. Defendant removed his keys from the victim's hand and in the physical interaction. The parties talked without further physical contact before the defendant drove away. So that right there, ladies and gentlemen, according to the official court documents that were filed, is what happened. That is the, I'm throwing air quotes around this if you can see me, but I'll just say, quote unquote, full story. And even at that right there, that might not give us all the details, but we know way more than before. Because originally it just stated, oh yeah, he physically assaulted somebody and was harassed. But when you hear the full story, like, well, it doesn't sound as black and white as it did before. Let me clarify if I haven't said it already. I'm not saying LaMichael James is right. He shouldn't have done what he did. He most certainly should have put his hands on the female, but you kind of can understand why he did it. Number one, she pulled him to his house, refused to leave. Number two, she broke his necklace. Number three, she went in his car and stole his keys. If you remember, like I stated a few minutes ago, this was in early March, so the off-season